Hello. Are you sick and tired of dealing with shifting targets? Right? So goals that were this and now it's shifted to this. Okay. So if that's something that's bugging you, listen up because I've got some good thoughts for you today about this on today's Top Leaders. Hi, everybody. I'm Jen Anderson, and it is my pleasure to support you to become an awesome leader so that you can help to create the tech team that everyone wants to work for. And really, that's because you deserve it and your people are worth it as well. So let's make sure to help you get there. All right. I want to talk to you today about this whole idea of shifting targets and stuff because here it is today. It's January 20th, right? And so I can't tell you how many times over the years when I've worked with teams, there have been these really interesting moments where the first month comes and goes. And then the second month comes and goes of the new year. And it's like the third month and goals are still not defined. And I've talked to different team members and whatnot in these companies. There's definitely this sense of like, okay, so when is management going to get their act together and make sure that we're all like on the same page? And then I'm talking to management and they're saying, okay, well, when are the employees going to step up to the plate and say, we think that this is what the goals should be? And while I'm making this highly simplified and bringing it down to those kind of two issues, I think the bigger problem here is there's a lack of what's our overall goal? Where are we headed as a company, as an organization? Or where are we even as a team? Where are we headed? And if that's not clear, well, then it's really going to be super hard to figure out the goals to get there. All right. So that's something that I want you to think about. If you're running into issues with what's our goals and moving targets and whatnot, likely it's because not everybody's on the same page of your mission or your vision. Okay. And so I would invite you to look at that. Look at that first. Are we clear about our vision? Because then if we're going to shift goals over here, which is totally fine. I'm 100% okay with the goal shifting. But if it shifts, but it's not in alignment with this thing that you're trying to accomplish, then that's not helpful. Okay. So what happens is we get the ooh shiny syndrome, right? It's like, woo, okay, squirrel moment, right? And we go, there's this thing over here. I was reading a book or I was traveling to a conference and I read this article or I heard somebody at this conference talk about this thing, right? It's this bright and shiny thing over here. I think we should do that. And it's like, wait, time out, pause. Does that thing align with the mission? Okay, that's really fast and easy. Yes, it does. It's going to actually help us accomplish this mission faster. Fabulous. Let's get on it. Let's shift. Something's going to change, right? Because you don't add on top of things have to be let go, right? Because in case you weren't aware, we all have 24 hours a day. I'm just going to say. Okay. And so you can't just keep adding and adding and adding and adding and thinking people are going to magically have more time. All right. By the way, if somebody could build us a time machine, I mean, glory, hallelujah, right? But then that doesn't necessarily work because then everybody would have more time to just do more of the things and then it's just not going to work. Okay. But going back to this idea of being clear about your mission statement and getting clarity around that, and then also that's going to help you with your goals. It's something that could be a really big deal. So if you're not clear on that mission statement and the vision, get in touch with me. Let's absolutely talk about that. That can make an enormous difference. And it's beneficial not only for you as a leader, but for your people, but also where like your customers are seeing you and all of those kinds of things. It has beautiful, far-reaching opportunities. Clear on mission statement. If you're clear on that, awesome. And then, okay, so then as new things come up, right, the new shiny stuff that pops up over here, align it. Go back to the mission. Does it make sense? Okay, if it doesn't make sense, nope. No, it's not going to happen. This little thing over here, you're just going to have to set it aside. Maybe consider it the next year, right? Or something, or maybe just let it go. All right. And so I am wanting to share with you a thought too around goal shifting. So there's some corporations that I've worked with where there's kind of a like even though January 1 starts stuff, right? Like you think, okay, here we're the new year, now moving forward is what we're doing. There are some companies who've decided it's okay for us to have our goals be undefined at the beginning of the year. And we're okay with things not getting defined until February or March. And if that's the culture of your company, good, great. I'm glad that you've identified that, right? My question to you as a leader, are you helping the people who are part of your team to understand that that's the culture and not just making an assumption? So, because there's always like the standard operating procedures, right? Here's the this is the stuff. This is exactly what you do, and then there's the little things that are the unwritten taboo kind of stuff, right? Like I'll give you an example. Years ago, I worked for a company, and I showed up to work, and I was wearing this really beautiful red blouse, and one of my coworkers pulled me aside, and she said, "Jen, why are you wearing red?" I'm like, because I like it. I get compliments when I wear it. And she said, "You can't wear red." I'm like, "Why?" We're kind of whispering. And she said, "Because the boss, she hates red." I'm like, "Oh, I never knew that. I never noticed that people weren't wearing red in the office." Well, apparently it was the team color for the rival university for where she went to school, and the school that she supports, which is blue, and this other one over here was red. So nobody wore red. So I'm like, oh wait, okay. So luckily for myself that day, I had a lot of appointments out of the office, so I didn't really get to see her. But that's one of those examples of an unwritten rule, a thing that is not in any kind of standard operating procedures, right? It's not in any job description anywhere. There's no bylaws in the company, right? There's no value statement that says, oh, we don't wear red, kind of stuff. But it's important because it was like just kind of a weird energy around that, right? Well, needless to say, I never wore red at the office again. And so the goals that might be shifting for you, it's okay that we're squishy gushy with our goal establishment until March is when we finalize. Fine. I'm totally okay with that. Make sure people know about it. Don't surprise them by sidelining them and saying, "Hey, don't wear red. The boss doesn't like it," right? Like, don't do that to people like all of a sudden, right? Make sure you're really clear and upfront about that up front. Do that for your sanity as a leader, okay? Make sure that they're on the same page, but do it for the sanity of the people who are working for you. Okay. So, and you might be saying, "But everybody's been on my team for a couple of years." Like, no big deal. They all know this, but do they really know that? And is there anything that maybe they have ideas around how that might be able to be improved? I mean, does it have to be loosey-goosey goals until March? I don't know. Would it maybe be helpful if that got cleaned up a little bit and you're getting those goals defined by the end of January? Would that help? I don't know. You're going to have to look at these things for yourself. But if that's the case, that we're not going to really define these goals until the end of March, just make sure everybody's clear about that, because then it also might shift things for like their KPIs or other deliverables, right? And when you start messing with people's rice bowl, meaning their paycheck, especially if you've got any kind of KPIs that are aligned with the bonuses and things that they get, or end of year raises and whatnot, that's when people start to get kind of like, you know what? They're not clear. They're not giving us direction on the goals. And I'm over here being held accountable to something that's all loosey-goosey. And why am I being accountable to something that's not even defined yet, right? So as you get that definition, and again, tie it back to your mission statement, can make a big difference for you, so that in the end, you're really working to create that environment that's going to create that tech team that people really want to be a part of, right? Because technologists talk to each other. They totally do. And I got a buddy who says, "Hey, I'm thinking about applying." But like, don't. It's going to drive you nuts. We're all over the map with our goals. Yeah. All right. Or somebody else is like, "I want to come work for your team." Be like, totally. One thing I love about my company is we know what we're working on. So we're focused. And that helps me as a technologist feel like I'm accomplishing something good, right? That's the kind of stuff you want to come out of your people's mouths when they're talking to their friends about coming to work, right? All right. So as you're looking at your goals, if you're out of alignment with mission, say all those kinds of things, get in touch with me. Let's talk about this stuff. We can absolutely get you so you're all synced up. It's going to make a big difference for you. Okay. And remember, there are lots of things that you can do so you can become the tech leader that you need to be, and then build that tech team that everyone wants to work for, because really you're worth it. And so are your people. Get in touch with me at movingforwardsolutions.com. Click on the Let's Chat button, and we can talk about what's going on with your team. Thanks so much, my friends. I look forward to talking to you soon.